Well, they blew up our chickens in Bonanza last night. Now they burned down the jobs board too. Down at the showdown, they're getting ready for a fight. Gonna see what them merchant boys can do. Now there's trouble busting in from CBS, and Jonathan Cars can't get no relief. Gonna be a rumble by the microwave, and the town council's hanging on the skin of their teeth. Well, now everyone cries, baby, that's a fact. But everyone that cries chugs their root beer back. Put your gold star on, get your bandana pretty, and meet me at Kid Nation in Bonanza City.
Hello, pioneers.
Hello, pioneers. Welcome back, pioneers.
You've survived, just like the kids did, 5 days in Bonanza City.
5 days, and this town's really changed, quote Emilie.
5 long days.
5 days and no protein. Makes the Bonanza children dull boys and girls.
Yes, if you aren't watching Kid Nation along with us, or if you haven't started episode 2 yet.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, this episode is all about proteins.
Yeah. Also, this episode's all about that argument, like that you can only get protein from straight up animal meat. And it's like no one's ever heard of like 80 pounds of canned baked beans in the fucking barn.
Well, these are kids. I mean, I don't blame the 8-year-olds for not knowing that the giant, like 20 cans of baked beans, that them not knowing that has protein. But the 15-year-olds should know better.
And eggs, which was our great debate during watching the episodes. Like, eggs have protein. I guess like chicken probably is like low sodium. They're not thinking that advanced probably about this decision.
No, they're just fucking little kids dropped in the middle of the desert who are starving.
Mm-hmm. I will say, rewatching the second episode made me realize how easy it probably is to ditch this show after the first episode. Because the first episode, compared to the second, is like horseshit.
Really?
I think so. Like, the first like sets you up and you're like, okay, this is cute and whatever. And then the second episode gets so maniacal and bizarre and disturbing that like if you were thinking about continuing to watch, it's like a slam dunk for me. Like the second episode is like I'm sealed, I'm in, I am a Bonanza head. This is what's going down.
I thought the first episode of Kid Nation was on par with Cheers as one of the greatest pilots in television history.
Really?
Oh, I loved it. And it is a little bit longer than this one. Today's episode is more in line with usual Kid Nation episode, like 42 minutes.
I guess you have to go start somewhere, and I'm glad we like met everybody, but like this episode came in hot and it stayed hot, and I'm so glad I've like truly the like stoner memory of a goldfish where I can't remember anything that's coming up, even though I've watched this series like countless times. I'm like, oh yeah, do they kill chickens? Like I don't remember. So I'm just so thrilled. This episode 2 is called To Kill or Not to Kill. So it's gonna be flame.
Yes, it's the famous William Shakespeare quote,
oh my God.
As our favorite Jared says.
Jared is getting a lot of airtime out the gate. He's getting a lot of quotes in. Jared is really like, maybe by the end, if I remember this, I'll like try to do like, this should be a YouTube video that exists as like a Jared supercut, because like Jared has so much stuff.
Oh, he's amazing. I mean, I think I mentioned this in episode 1, but he's like a little bit more outgoing me at 11 years old. Very nerdy. Like you kind of see him and it's like very goofy, very Jewish, of course.
Yeah, you can tell his mom like told him that he's perfect like every day.
Oh yeah.
Did your mom do that?
My mom? No.
Well,
not once.
Next time.
You hear that, Jeanette? Oh, by the way, I don't think we introduced ourselves. I'm Pablo Goldstein.
And I'm Stevie Anderson. We mentioned the pilot episode. There's really not much media about Kid Nation, and I think it's a fucking shame, a fucking sham. I think early aughts reality TV really set the standard in the fact that there was no law or lawyers to care about filming regulations. And I really highly recommend returning to most reality TV shows made from like 2003 to 2008.
Oh yeah, if this becomes a huge hit on par with, say, Serial or Dirty John, we'll definitely be doing a podcast about, The Simple Life.
I feel like The Simple Life has had a
Osbournes.
real resurgence in meme world. I see it a lot in astrology Twitter because I don't know why there's always subtitles, because like I'm not sure if like Paris and Nicole were just really incoherent and there was just subtitles a lot, or if it was just a show that like maybe someone had a DVD that I am always curious of like the origins of those memes, where it's like, how did these TV shows kind of built in with their memes and subtitles? Do you know what I mean?
I think just YouTube.
Yeah, maybe it is just YouTube, but Simple Life.
I mean, YouTube is where every early 2000s YouTube reality or early 2000s reality show lives.
This is watching episode 2. I did say to Pablo, I was like, "Is this smaller?" And it was smaller. This like one on YouTube, was it a different uploader?
No, I think it's the same guy, Mark something.
Don't out him. The fucking
He's a hero. He uploaded this.
We should talk to him.
We should. I'll
Okay, make a
God,
note.
YouTube doesn't have a messaging system, but
I bet if
hopefully
we
he has
search
this
his
info.
username,
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We both work in unscripted television, so we have access to like Spokio and LexisNexis.
I don't.
I'll give you my password.
Thanks, babe. Love you.
Love you.
Let's talk about the chickens.
Let's do it. Before we talk about the chickens, I do want to.
Are you doing this?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want it's very
I mean,
important.
go.
I
If
mean,
you
I'm
have
not-
to get it, just do it.
I care about the kidney. You can do it with me if you want.
It's okay. This is your moment.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of Kid Nation and to the districts for which it stands, one nation, under Karsh, indivisible, with root beer and gold stars for all.
Amen.
Okay, so
All right. Let's stop the bullshit.
So episode 2, To Kill or Not to Kill, begins with the classic rivalry. It's basically what our country is right now since Trump got elected, which
Okay.
is farm kids versus city kids.
Okay, actually, truly want to pause because the intro did show for last week's episode, which was a supercut of Jimmy gunned down in his prime.
Yes,
And
rest in peace to Jimmy.
Rest in peace to Jimmy. And honestly, that just made me really miss Jimmy. Like, I know he's like a libertarian now, and like that's okay. That's his journey. But
I wish he was a libertarian. He's a staunch conservative.
I don't know. I think it's
He loves George W. Bush.
drink. And then yeah, so it was really nice to see that little clip of Jimmy saying, I think I'm gonna die out here because there's nothing.
I think I'm gonna die out here because there's nothing.
I just really miss Jimmy, and I love his little mushroom cut, and we're not gonna see Jimmy again, so I just want to give him like a little shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Jimmy.
Super funny, and the way he raised his hand like a little toad frog, like I want to leave.
Yeah, I mean, he's when you're that age, you are drilled into your mind that you need to raise your hand to talk.
Yeah,
Even
I
when
forgot
you're
about that.
in front of CBS cameras.
Have you ever seen Utopia?
I don't think
Not
I've
like
heard
if
of it.
it's not. There's like one Utopia that I guess is like a nice BBC show, and then there's one that was like on Fox, and it was a live reality show where people kind of live like Big Brother, but you could go visit them and also be on TV, and they had like live moments where you could come to the farm. It was some failed show. It kind of reminds me of like that one reality show that like filmed in Scotland and it got pulled, but they didn't tell the people that it was like pulled, so they just kept living on like the island.
Oh, I read that New Yorker article.
Oh, did it spawn a New Yorker article?
I think so, unless I'm thinking about some other fucked up reality show.
Good for them. So yeah, rest in peace, Jimmy. But then we really get into like the chicken shit starts heavy up top, and it stays pretty solid for the first act of the episode.
Oh yeah, it's basically so to set up some context, the kids are 6 days in. They've been eating nothing but like overcooked macaroni and like cans of baked beans.
The food here doesn't really have a taste. It's its own taste. It's nothing like I've tasted before, and it's not very good.
But the producers have introduced live chickens, and they have to make a decision whether to kill them or not.
Okay, to be fair, they've had chickens and have been getting eggs, but in that, what did we discover the journal's called now?
Oh, I think it's just called the Pioneer's Journal.
Yeah, so the Pioneer's Journal, which I guess updates daily or whatever, is like, hey, it's me. You guys should kill chickens. Like, that's like literally what it says. They never thought about it until the producers told them to do it.
Yeah, I know you're not much of a gamer, but this is basically like a video game. Like, each you get like a quest from a little book.
Yeah. Also, before the kind of chicken mayhem really kicks off, we really get a deep dive into one of my new old fave, Emilie.
Yeah.
We meet Emilie, and she is just sweet as pie, bandana rocking. She's just talking about the chickens. She's grew up on 10 acres of wild horse country. And I just love when kids clearly are just repeating like whatever their parents say, like, which is just Emilie, like over and over.
Oh yeah.
She's like, yeah, I break wild Mustangs.
My parents have 10 acres of pure horse land, and I break wild Mustangs.
Yeah, and she's like 4'7", so the thought of her like breaking a Mustang would kill her.
Breaking wild Mustangs, like that. We have to talk. I mean, if Emilie did break wild Mustangs, there has to be pictures of it, and if we can track down Emilie, I need to see this evidence.
She's not just a horse girl; she's a Mustang girl.
She's a Mustang breaker.
What is a Mustang?
Dude, a Mustang is a wild horse.
Oh, that's just what it means.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I would say I identify as 30% horse girl, but I'm not full.
Well, your mom was a horse girl, so you're technically 50%.
True.
But also, so we do meet Emilie. She's kind of like the new kid we meet, but we also meet her kind of like her farming kid counterpart, which is Colton, who wears a cowboy hat because he is a cowboy.
Yeah.
Cow kid, sorry.
He's a cow kid. Mustangs are free roaming wild horses of the western United States, descended from trained horses and Spanish something is what but they're feral. They aren't to be it's hard to tame a wild horse.
Yeah, unless you're Emilie.
Unless you're Emilie and you just break wild Mustangs all day
them.
and all night. Also, I loved in the beginning when they're kids, they're just when the innocence before the chicken wave started was they were catching eggs out of the chickens' asses and be like, "Oh, it's still warm."
Yeah, the city kids were very shocked. I mean, I'm a city kid, and I remember one time we went on a field trip to a farm, and it was very Billy Madison. Didn't they go to a farm in that movie on a field trip?
Yeah, I mean, that was popular, I think, to go to a farm. I think there was a huge trope. I know they did this in The Simple Life, but early aughts reality TV were obsessed with artificially inseminating cows, as a challenge.
Or if it was Tom Green, he would artificially inseminate it and then lick it off or some shit. Or
why would he needs it?
Tom Green's amazing.
I mean, he is amazing, but it is gross. To lick innards of cow.
Hey, the jury's still out on that. But.
Yeah. So that was also kind of a big thing. I think doing gross stuff was still hip.
It's like Huey Lewis saying it's hip to be gross.
It's hip to be gross.
I was
just gonna say there's this other character who isn't named yet, but it's truly Emily's tethered, and she has shorter hair and glasses and a little bit more of a southern accent, even though Emilie is from Nevada. So Emilie has a bit of a twang, but she's from Nevada. It's just so funny to watch 9, 10, 11-year-olds, and you're just a hormone. You're just waiting to pop. Everything in you. It was even saying when we were watching it, knowing that Greg, because Greg shines a lot in this episode, and we'll get to that. Knowing that Greg is 15, I can't believe he hangs out with these kids all day.
He looks so bored. Thank God for his friend.
I know we always are what is that kid's name? Because they don't really It's weird how frequent some of the kids appear early on, but they don't name them yet, and it's almost did they not know?
Greg's
lackey.
But other than that, yeah, because Alex, who's one of our favorites, he's constantly just hanging next to him.
But also Alex doesn't. I hope this changes, but I don't think Alex gets as much airtime as we remember.
No, he's just kind of a cute little. Him and Jared are very much supporting characters.
But Jared gets a lot of quotes.
They're like the Kramer or Neil Patrick Harris character. That was his character's name, right?
Alex is the guy on the couch.
Half-Baked?
From Half-Baked. Ever heard of it? Yeah, they get the book and they're you have to kill chickens. And they don't have to, so they vote on it.
Yeah, they hold a vote, and of course Emilie being the staunch vegetarian animal lover.
Is she a vegetarian, or is she just she just didn't want to kill chickens?
Maybe she just didn't want to kill chickens, but it gets to such a fevered pitch that she leads a group of 2 other kids, and they're basically the Animal Liberation Front.
Yeah,
they
that was
rush
great.
out of
the meeting.
Bonanza City Hall into the cold, literally freezing sandstorm that is Bonanza City. We'll get to that later.
The cold really fucked up everybody. I can't believe they like didn't bring in space heaters for these kids or something. Like it was pretty pretty negligible.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they have them inside the bunks and stuff, but we see these kids out in below 32-degree temperatures, shivering,
AKA below freezing.
That's what some people call it.
Before they run out though, I did like there was a lot of good quotes in this. It wasn't a town hall per se, because it was more just like, we're all in the same room, so let's yell about the chickens right now. Like DK is just yelling like, what are you in like love with the chickens? And then like Emilie has these great like confessional quotes, because the show mixes in between the moments, and then there's like real world style confessionals where we get a little more insight on the kids and like what they're into.
Yeah.
And so Emilie just has amazing quotes like, animals are friends, and like you guys just don't know it yet.
and the way they shoot it, she's like sitting on a log.
She's straight up moping.
She's like, you know, she picks a dandelion from the ground and is like slowly picking, like, I hope they don't kill these poor chickens.
I know. It was really, I mean, Emilie like really touched my heart. I love that she stood up for herself and stood up for her beliefs, which is not that maybe she doesn't even eat meat. She just doesn't want you to kill these particular chickens.
Yes. So they make an attempt to save these chickens.
Yeah.
But eventually they lose, but not before one of Emilie's friends says, are they going to hang... This is to the chicken.
Oh, my God.
Are they going to hang him like they did Saddam Hussein?
They won't hang them like they did Saddam Hussein.
So we didn't really get a George Bush reference in this episode, but we did get an Iraq war. So please drink not as many shots as we had hoped for. That was weird.
That was very,
obviously.
I mean, these kids were very aware of what was going on. I mean, this was 2007, so we were in the throes of the insurgency.
Okay, I'm like always scared to ask political questions, because you're like smart with this stuff, and I don't Google things.
I majored in history.
Was Saddam Hussein hung?
Yes, he was. So the war started in 2003. I believe he was captured in either late 2003 or 2004, famously in the Spider Hole. Mm-hmm. Then there was a trial, or some might say a sham trial.
Okay.
And then around 2006, 2007, this was one of the first like viral cell phone videos. Because I remember I was up late at night one day on my computer, and people started on the message boards were like, yo, there's this video of Saddam Hussein getting hanged. And I was like, what? And you clicked on it, and it took forever to load, and it was super grainy quality, but it's like fucking Saddam Hussein getting hanged.
Shit.
It was like a snuff film.
Oh.
And this little girl apparently watched it.
Yeah, she
loved it. Rotten.com was her homepage.
Emilie's tether. Hashtag rotten.com. Hashtag also, Emilie had a great quote in the midst of all this like chicken mayhem while she's still defending it with her PETA coalition, which is her tether. And then like, honestly, like an unmarked boy, like I don't know who it is.
An unmarked boy.
And Emilie has a great quote that's just like, what did she say? She says,
Oh my God, what's happening in this town?
oh, what's happening to this town? Which is this day 5. I love Emilie because it's like, she does, like, there are some kids who are clearly babies, and there are some kids who are old people in baby outfits, and she's an old person in a baby outfit. And I was definitely like a mature adult-like kid who said like funny adult-like things.
I could see that.
I also had like, my mom always made me have bowl cuts because my hair was so thick and long, like how it is now. But my head was so big and my body was like small, like a child. And she said when my hair was long, like if I turned a corner quick, she thought like a tiny adult human was in the house, and it freaked her out. So she always cut my hair really short because she was afraid of me. She thought I looked scary.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I kind of get it. Like human babies, they're weird.
She just thought someone broke into her nice, quiet suburban house.
It would just catch her off guard because she thought like sometimes it looked like a wig was walking around, like a full grown person.
My cousin
Have you ever seen babies try on wigs, like full adult wigs?
I feel like I've seen Cardi B post a meme of like a baby in a wig before. We just love kids and talking about
You
them.
do love kids. Kids love you too. They're always drawn to you.
Kids do love me. I know a lot of people are like, ooh, babies love me, but like babies do stare at me. If they're like crying, they'll like stare at
They're
me.
obsessed with you. Do you think it's the mustache or the long eyelashes?
No, this was way before I had a mustache or facial, like even in high school.
It's probably, I don't know. You just have that like They're probably like, ooh, he's so sexy. Like, be my dad. Anyways, it is so fucking dusty in Bonanza. These kids' lungs must be like real fucked up later in life. And like black dark boogers, I would assume.
Yeah, it's like, who's the executive producer on this? Darude? So we get our first warning screen because the town council decides to
They're killing chickens.
kill chickens, and it's Greg who has had like 20 jobs. So he's like, I've done butchering.
Yeah,
I've worked in a slaughterhouse.
I've killed cattle. I've actually murdered cats. I'm actually the bad guy from. What's this called?
The Netflix
The
documentary.
Netflix. This is probably, which will probably be dated by now. Oh, I guess you can watch it at your leisure. Don't fuck with cats.
Don't fuck with cats. Yes.
That's
it's about Greg.
That's about Greg.
But yeah, Greg, like, he takes the lead. He shows off his leadership skills. He cuts the chicken's head off.
Yeah, Anjay's holding the chicken. I'm gonna add that in. He was super comfortable doing that. Also, they did have like a micro meeting at the bar. And like Emilie was like, fine, do whatever.
Yeah, Emilie was like, okay, I guess everyone's gonna hate me if I don't.
I guess we need protein. You guys are right. Like,
also, there's like 10 chickens.
And also Greg was like, we'll just kill 2. Like, it's really not a huge deal. Like, 2 will be enough for everybody. Which we were like, really? Like 2?
I mean, I go to Zanku and I'll buy a whole chicken sometimes, and that's like my lunch and my dinner. So,
I mean, chicken is truly. I'm a flexitarian, as everyone probably doesn't know because I don't talk about it like only like in person. I'm not going to post, but chicken is truly my least favorite meat. I think it's so boring, and I wish like fried chicken was more appealing to me.
Really, you don't like fried chicken?
It's fine, like
wow.
And you know what? When like a mood strikes, it's great, but I'm not like always in the mood.
Do you like fried other stuff?
I'm not a big fried person.
You don't like French fries?
Well, those like don't count.
They absolutely count.
No, they don't, because I'm thinking of like breaded fried skin things, and I don't really like breaded fried skin things at all. Anywho, they're slaughtering chickens. This scene of the chicken killing was like so beautiful. It's really shot well. There's so much going on. For some reason, everyone's outside watching. Even though no one wanted this to, like, everyone agreed that they wanted the meat, but everyone also was like, I don't want to see this. But then everyone went outside to watch.
Well, the reason why this scene is so beautiful is because for once the camera is not handheld. They put it on a tripod and they shoot it at this really weird low angle, and with the dust flowing in, it's like a Coen Brothers movie. Or like it reminds me of the scene in Miller's Crossing where they take the guy out to the forest and he begs for his life.
Oh my god! It's also the music that was playing was like this twangy. It reminded me of like Neil Young's original compositions for Dead Man, which is just like the chicken scene really put Kid Nation over the edge, over the top, into like that was like one of the best episodes, like one of the best scenes in reality TV here ever, history, period.
I had to leave after they did the first chicken.
Once again, keep it up tight to the block, pull the head out, nice clean chop.
We sped up the natural cycle of life and death and gave these 2 suckers a shortcut.
Emilie, like, there's a shot of Emilie in the distance just running away. There's Alex in his transition lenses and parka just, like, looking like, what the fuck? Everyone is really just, like, losing their shit. I really recommend, like, if you can only watch one scene, we'll probably post this, this clip, because it's, like, a good minute, maybe a minute and a half.
Yeah.
But it's perfect.
Oh, it's perfect. Much like the show.
And then Greg just kind of, I'm impressed with Greg. He really, like, he made it the music and this filming of this was really shocking, but then once the chicken was dead and it was convulsing, you know, as chickens do, he was like, it's okay guys, it's just reactionary, it is dead, now we need to like boil it in hot water and like pluck its feathers and gut it, and like he was just really matter of fact about it, and it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, if I was like I never went to summer camp, partly because I think I would be like terrified of being away from home for like a couple months. So if I was in Kid Nation, which is basically summer camp without counselors, unless you count like the cameraman and the boom operator,
Right.
I would personally look up to someone like Greg, and you know, as like my protector.
Greg like always has like a scraped chin. What's up with that?
maybe he's learning how to shave.
Oh God, maybe he's learning how to shred. I'm talking about skateboards. I've always wanted to go to summer camp. I watched so much fucking Bug Juice growing up.
Yeah, Bug Juice was horny.
Bug Juice was horny. Kids got kicked out for like fucking and
Really?
for like smoking weed. Yeah.
I vaguely remember the smoking weed episode.
There was like, they like did shit. Anywho, Jared also has a great quote in here about speeding up the natural order of life. Honestly, everyone is spiraling into madness, and it's great. So now, okay, chicken has happened. They make a delicious chicken dinner, chicken noodle soup, chicken and potatoes, all that good stuff. And then the next issue that we kind of have in Kid Nation, and, stop me if something better comes up, is that they're just fucking cold. Like, it's just cold out.
Yes, as we discussed, it is less than 32 degrees.
Yeah.
Some would say freezing. But also, to make matters worse, the yellow team led by Taylor, the cooks,
Yeah.
they don't want to cook. It's too cold.
The Taylors and I almost want to call the yellow team the Taylors. Like the Taylors, which is all these girls, honestly, like, okay, real talk, because this show's probably going to end up being like a reflection of childhood. Like I was kind of a floater. Like I could get along with popular girls. I could get along with like the Stoners, the Bloods, the Crips, like whoever was around. But like watching the Taylors of the yellow team, like blanket up in the room and be like, we don't want to work. We're cold. We're just having a daytime slumber party. I just like felt like a triggered like, mean girls. They're just like the yellow team is the mean girls.
They are the mean girls. The one thing about the yellow team, especially Taylor and her little lackeys, is that they are the one part of the show which feels very inauthentically produced.
Do you think?
Well, the one thing I love about Kid Nation is that every kid, for the most part, seems so authentic and real. Whereas Taylor, when they cut to her little, what do you call those things? Confessionals?
Yeah, let's call it a confessional.
It's clearly like, okay, take 3, Taylor, let's do that one more time. It's all very like, she's the mean girl, she's the bad girl.
Yeah, but okay, as giving some female perspective, that shit felt real as fuck to like baby tween me. And also, even if Taylor is doing take 3, let's get a mean bite Taylor, she's down. You know what I mean? Like she's like okay with being like deal with it. And also we get Taylor's first line of just deal with it.
Yes.
Early on, which I think that definitely was out of context because I know there's like a scene where she like yells it later on. But that's gonna be Taylor's catchphrase is just deal with it. And Taylor has a fucking insane quote by the end of the episode at the council meeting, but we'll get there.
Oh yeah. She's basically like Mao.
Instead of mean girls, they're Mao girls. So it's cold. The laundry's fucking frozen.
They can't wash any dishes. Not that they could because the L team isn't. But most importantly, the one water pump in town is literally frozen solid.
Yeah, Michael's like a laborer in the Green Party, and he's like, it's fucking frozen. This sucks, everybody. But watching like the pipes be frozen and they like seeing the pile of dirty dishes and seeing the laundry frozen in a bucket and like that they couldn't do anything. I was like, God, water does do like everything.
Oh yeah, no, this is gonna be a hot take, but water is great, very important.
Water is life. No, like you do like. And this is like from like just a place of privilege, which also those conversations kind of come up later on in problematic ways, and we'll discuss. But water is life, and when you don't have it, you really feel it. It's also not on that same scale of like when your nose is stuffed and you don't remember it being unstuffed. Mm-hmm. Like
yeah, like when you're sick for 2 weeks and you're like, fuck, I literally don't remember. Mm-hmm. Like I would give anything not to be sick anymore.
Mm-hmm. When you have regular access to water is a privilege, and the kids of Bonanza City learned that lesson the hard way.
Yeah, and that lesson goes straight into this week's challenge.
Yeah,
which is convoluted as ever.
Yeah, well, Michael did. He did have a victory round, but he took some boiling water and poured it over the pipe, and then it started pumping. So we were getting murmurs that Michael's probably maybe could get a gold star, but we're also starting to get murmurs of like, well, Greg did slaughter a chicken. So I don't know. It's a toss up between these.
Yeah, it's chicken versus water, which is one of the all-time great rivalries.
It's a toss up between these two moppy-haired boys, one a bit older with braces, one a bit younger, and from the grunge scene.
And you all know me. I'm Team Greg. Greg's my boy.
So he unfreezes the pipe. Also got triggered flashbacks living in Chicago, having a frozen pipe burst under your sink, and you come home and everything is fucking flooded and your water's not working. Super shitty. But yeah, the challenge is built into the water, which I am like very curious about how this was story produced now.
Yeah, it is kind of, so So to lay it out, the kids have to lay pipe and get your minds out of the gutter. They have to literally lay pipe from a source of water, all the way through an outhouse, then through something else. It's very convoluted. It's very difficult, and then it finally ends up turning one of those like old timey water wheels.
Right, but you're not even saying the hardest part of this challenge is that the water is flowing the entire time that they're assembling the pipes together, which is like impossible. If you're assembling any pipes, you turn off the source of water. Like,
wait, you mean that's not how people lay pipe? They don't just turn the water on and then just spray it everywhere?
Well, that's how I lay pipe, baby. I run wet.
That's how. I mean, CBS wasted so much water in this challenge for 60 minutes. Some would say an hour. The water is just flowing.
Yeah.
And I love this challenge because it's really kind of like a harbinger of things to come, which is the future wars that we will be fighting over water.
Oh my God.
So like red team is kind of like North America. It's like, you know, Mexico, America, and Canada. Yellow team is like maybe South America and like a little bit of Central. Like these are the wars that are going to be fought, and it's here in Kid Nation.
Yeah. Also, red team is really concerned about keeping their upper class status. We do get another great Jared quote of like, "I'm fighting for the big pay."
He's fighting for the what?
The big pay is what he said. He wants the big pay. So they're doing this thing. Greg is feeling really confident because again, we mentioned that he's slaughtered cattle and he's also done as in
PVC pipes.
He's also done a lot of work in PVC pipes. So he's like done probably like local plumbing for the Nevada area. I don't really understand.
He's in the local 278.
The PVC pipe union layers.
Yeah.
So Greg's feeling confident because Greg was probably 19 and lied about his paperwork.
Yeah, this was very. Do you know who Danny Almonte was?
No.
Back in 2001, there was this big scandal because the winners of the Little League World Series had this pitcher named Danny Almonte, who was supposed to be like 12, and he turned out to be like 18. So he was throwing fucking like 90-mile-an-hour fastballs at like 10-year-olds.
Wait, that's so funny. Is there a movie about this yet? That'd be a good movie.
I mean, there was like, you know, ESPN 30 for 30 docs. And then
Wait, I remember this kid.
It was a huge news. I mean, 2001, 2000 was a great year for young Latino teens between Elian Gonzalez and Danny Almonte. Whoa. I think that was his name. I don't know.
It is Danny Almonte, and it was Elian Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
So anyways, the challenge looks hard as hell.
As always.
As always, you'll notice this in Kid Nation, the challenges are extremely difficult. Even adults would have a very, very hard time with this. And the setup of this was weird because so like the first challenge, they do the challenge, and if they complete it, you know, like not only do they have to like place, but they also have to do it in the amount of time, and everyone has to finish or they don't get the prize.
Yes.
And in the first one, they finish and then they get shown the 2 prize options, which usually are one that CBS finds moral and one that like they know parents will be like, what the fuck? These kids are actual idiots for picking this.
Yeah,
so
fucking millennials.
So in the beginning they show this like 45-foot water blow up inflatable water slide in the distance, and you're like, you see that, kids? It's a water slide.
And the kids are super excited to go on this water slide in like 32-degree weather.
But then he says something weird like, yeah, and you'll see your second option like after. Anyways, start laying pipe, which I thought was weird.
Yes.
In because usually it's like they don't do that.
Do they? I feel like they don't usually reveal the second one until after they all win.
No, because I don't know. At least in the first one, they won, and they're like, cool, your prize could be either A or B, and they just show it.
Right. This time they showed one prize.
They showed one, and they're like, and we'll tell you the second one when you're done.
Because I initially thought like, oh, wait, the challenge is that they have to slide down this fun slide. I was like, what?
I don't know. I love the idea that they set that thing up just to take it away.
I know. That crew must have been so pissed. They're like, oh, we don't even get to see these kids fucking injure themselves. And
it's been a while since I've read Michael's Reddit Ask Me Anything. I think they did get to go down it once or twice.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty positive he mentioned that in there. I'll have to I've read through that Reddit AMA multiple times. Again, memory of a goldfish, weed, and LSD has ruined my brain, and so I can't remember anything that he wrote, but I'm pretty sure they did. So the challenge goes on. It's very hard. They're all getting wet. It looks horrible. It looks not fun at all. And the blue district wins. So we have a shift in hierarchy. But blue and red, spoiler alert, are usually going to stay towards the top. Red comes in second. Yellow are the fucking cooks again, even though it's like truly not the job for them.
Yeah.
And then green, the yellow should be laborers because then the girls can just like walk around and gossip all day. Like,
oh god, but the crazy thing with the laborers is that their main duty is to clean up the outhouses of shit.
I know that's like really wrong. I mean, there's lots of things that are wrong.
I mean, kids should number one not
work in septic,
not be working in outhouses. Number two, kids should not be cooking chicken. Chicken is very easy to undercook, and I am shocked that they did not get all 39 kids got salmonella.
Yeah, and kids and old people die easier. So real risky.
Kids die easier.
So the green team does not fucking finish.
Fucking losers.
They looked really close, but the green team is pretty disappointing. And then they don't even show what the other prize was gonna. Oh no, they did. But the prize was so, I don't know. That was kind of a lackluster moment, anyways.
Well, that's why we were a little confused about the story producing, because the secondary prize compared to the water slide, which was the fun prize, was new water pipes throughout the town that were like modern and wouldn't freeze.
Right.
So but what I was kind of wondering was like, so how did they know that the pipes in Bonanza City were going to freeze? Like,
I know.
How did they see that far ahead?
I don't know, but I have another question that we'll get to in a bit that also makes me really wonder about like the format and all of this. Like, I'm like, how did this happen? They don't win, but also like everyone's like in a pretty good mood, I would say. Like, not really anyone's like pissed at all.
Yes. Well, after the green team loses, the rest of the kids all hug them and are like, you guys aren't losers. Don't worry. We don't want water pumps anyways. We're fine with one pump.
Right, totally.
But you could tell deep down they're pissed, especially Mike, that little twerp.
Also, there's like this is the part where there's like a truly insane quote from Michael where like Karsh is like, how'd everyone do? Water and water? And he's like, yeah, I couldn't live in Ethiopia. And it was like,
Well, it could be worse. I could live in Ethiopia. You never know.
They hold on that image of them laughing for like a couple seconds longer than they should, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, so that was like...
Also, one thing we haven't really talked about is that Kid Nation...
Yes, Kids Nation.
Is that the plural? Kids Nation?
The first Kids Nation.
Kid Nation is very white. There's, I think, 2, maybe 3 black kids. Mm-hmm. I don't think any Latino kids.
I mean, well, I think Guyland might be, not to like racially speculate.
Yeah,
but
or maybe like Pacific Islander.
I'm gonna like go like quick glance. It's like probably like 85% white.
Oh, I would say even more.
I mean, I guess we could. This would be the weirdest thing we probably do is do like a racial number crunch on like the demographics the demographics of Kid Nation. But overall, it's like, I mean, I know they tried to get a kid from everywhere USA, but it does feel like it's majority white.
I mean, if they made Kid Nation in 2020, it would be a lot more diverse. Let's just say that.
Well, from a casting perspective, it would probably be at least 50% because that's usually what they aim for.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys know this, Stevie.
I talked about it a little bit in the first episode, but I work in unscripted casting. So I know
if you have the memory of a goldfish and smoke weed,
you can be me. Well, actually, it really helps because I talk to so many people and for so many different subjects of television that if I remembered everyone, I'd probably go insane.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good that they just come and go from my brain. So that was like a weird, like, I also feel like it kind of goes with, I think this phrase has died out, and I don't think my parents ever said it, but I know parents, I feel like a popular phrase growing up was like, finish your food. There's starving kids in Africa.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a trope. Definitely in our era, but I think it started earlier, like 80s, 70s.
Yeah, so like I don't know if that came from like the whole like for $1 a day you could adopt a starving child in Africa or like where that phrase came from, but I feel like it felt very tied to that. Like Michael's parents would be like, be thankful you don't live in Ethiopia of all places.
It's definitely like a post World War II thing.
Yeah,
and then the invention of like the third world.
Right.
And you
so they get all their placements. Also, Greg is also shining a bit because he's helping a lot with like dishes and shit. And he's like, just because I'm upper class doesn't mean I'm not gonna pitch in.
Yeah. And people say there's no good billionaires. Which is...
Greg's like finally like had some upward mobility, and he's like, I'm all good. This is good.
Yeah, he's gonna give it
But
back.
also Mike does drop a hint. He's like, yeah, Greg's been really cool. I think he just wants the gold star. Which, because now we all know that gold stars are 20 fucking grand. So wouldn't you be like the most outstanding citizen of Kid Nation if you could be?
Oh yeah. If I was on this show for episode 1, I'd be like my usual shy, reserved self. But after finding out I get 20,000 smackaroos and I get to call mommy,
Yeah.
you know I'm gunning for that gold star.
I kind of wish, from a story producing perspective, I kind of wish they revealed that the gold stars were 20 grand, maybe like halfway through.
Yeah.
Because then maybe you would get a little more true colors of kids. And then it would be interesting to see who really flips halfway through.
Well, that's what's so funny about that is that even with the knowledge that you can get $20,000, Taylor's still like, I'm not going to cook.
Well, also,
Although she's on the council, so she can't get the gold star.
well, and spoiler alert, the council, I'm pretty sure the council believes that their seats are unmovable.
Yes.
So they feel pretty safe because these kids don't know about like
also
reality television yet.
being on the council is kind of whack. Like,
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
you give out $20,000, but other than that, like,
I would have voted for myself. I'm like, I want the 20,000.
yeah, you still have to clean up shit if you're the green leader.
So yeah, I'm like pretty into Greg right now. He's being pretty cool. This is the part I kind of referenced earlier, but Mallory, I love Mallory again. She's my favorite little like Eastern European cigarette saleswoman.
Oh, she's the super tiny one.
She's like so small. She's 8. She wears big jackets and bandanas, and she's running a stuffed animal daycare.
It's very cute.
And people sign in and leave their stuffed animals, and she watches them while they work. And honestly, I like do want a child right now. Like that, like my ovaries just twisted up inside me and was like, impregnate me.
What team would you want our child to be in? What district? Or what color team, I guess?
I mean, probably the blue. It's probably like the safest place to be.
Yeah, because Mike's a little punk, so
I don't trust the red.
Have
And obviously not the green, and clearly not the yellow. The blue's probably the best
blue.
team, I would say.
Yeah, because it has Alex.
Oh yeah, I forget Alex is on the blue. He's like hanging low on the blue, and I appreciate that for him. it's again like because like Alex and Mallory's on the blue, so like it's like a safe space for small children, and then the big boys just kill chickens for them.
And Greg's a chiller. You know, Greg was smoking weed with like one of the grips,
or at least salvia, because I feel like that was also pretty popular at the time. Did you ever do salvia?
No, but like when I was like a high schooler, but before I started like really smoking weed, and I was still just kind of like on the outskirts of smoking, like smoking weed every 4 months or so, I'd be super into like, fuck, I should like maybe get like I could probably get salvia. Like I could like order it online and it's legal.
Well, it was sold at like Spencer's. It was before they illegalized it.
Oh, so you didn't even have to go to a head shop?
Illegalize it.
Wait, did you do salvia?
One time and it sucked.
I've watched like 100 salvia YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, back in those were good.
We should watch them after we're done with this.
Okay, babe. Yeah, no, I did salvia once, like in like a nearby park, and my like it was like the worst trip ever. Maybe my salvia was bunk or weak, but I like smoked it very like DMT kind of style, and I had like felt like instantly fucked up. And I looked like I was like in an empty baseball field, and then I like turned around, and then there was like a huge like oversized orange cone in the middle of it, like a safety cone, and I was like, that wasn't there before. And then I like 2 minutes later like sobered up, and I was like, well, that was a pretty boring trip to like hallucinate like a safety cone in the middle of a baseball field. Boring.
Yeah,
So
the only cones I want to see on the baseball field is David Cone. Pitched a perfect game for the New York Yankees.
Hey, stop bragging.
What am I bragging about? I'm not
Being straight. Every time. Like, it's whenever you do a sports reference, I'm like, it's just like,
You
it's a
love
lot.
baseball. What do you?
I do. I like the Dodgers. I don't know. We don't like,
I hate baseball, and I love the Dodgers.
you need to
That's gonna be the next
Pablo.
podcast.
stop. So anyways, Emily's back at it again.
Yeah, she's literally living in the chicken coop. It's like that Malcolm X quote that the
Yeah.
chickens have come home to roost, and Emily is living in them.
Yeah. So I don't know what triggered this, but she runs back to the coop and does that relocking in thing. And then Colton, the cowboy's like, you can't be in here, bitch, basically.
Oh no! Remember earlier you said how Emily says things that she heard her parents say.
Yes.
Colton says something very similar, which is like, I'm going to hang you upside down by your fingertips.
Your toenails.
Or something. Like,
Yeah.
It's a very like down-home country saying, and it was like very violent. It was like, Jesus Christ, Colton, calm down.
I mean, my dad always threatened to hang me by my ankles. That was like the threat. But then like being hung by your ankles was really fun.
Would you rather be hung by your ankles or your fingernails?
Ankles. Fingernails would hurt. Ankles is like fun. It's just like being held upside down and flipped around and like woohoo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think your dad had this saying right.
Yeah. He also would like snap the belt. He like pretended to do child abuse and then just never followed through, and we're like, pussy. Like, do it, bitch. Which is kind of what Emilie does when she's in the coop. She's like, ooh, try to get me out. Ooh, try. And then finally she leaves and she's like, ooh, I'm out. Who cares? Which was so awesome. Like, I hard related.
After these little small vignettes of the animal daycare and the chicken coop incident,
Right.
we have the council debating who they should give the gold star to.
Yeah.
And it's a water versus chicken, as we mentioned earlier.
Right. And so there's 4. So, gotta love a tie. They're like, just say who you want. And they're like, it's basically, I can't remember who, but 2 of them say Michael and 2 of them say Greg.
Well, Mike for sure is on Michael because Mike hates Greg.
True.
Because Mike.
Pretty sure Taylor was Greg. I'm pretty sure Laura was Michael. I'm pretty sure Anjay was Greg.
Yes. Anjay was barely in this episode.
Yeah, well, he'll have his day in court pretty soon.
Yeah, there's a military tribunal later in Kid Nation.
So it kind of seems like a tie, and they leave us on this cliffhanger. Then we go to council, and we get our questions of like, Karsh always opens like, pioneers, welcome back. Any complaints? And it was
pioneers, make it work.
Oh my god, make it work, bitch. And Sophia is back at it again with her complaints, which I appreciate. Complain queen. And she's like, I said it before and I'll say it again. Yell Team does not do dick for shit in the kitchen. Also, Sophia is very territorial about the kitchen. Like, she runs that show, even though no one's asked her to do it. And I kind of get it. If you find something it's good that you love, run free. She just is into it. So she's like, yo, you don't do shit and you should. And then like Taylor's like, well, we are little and it is hard and we're little and it's hard. And everyone's like, yeah, that's like really not a good excuse. And she's like, well, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. You're all just gonna have to starve. That was the Chairman Mao part. She threatens to send them to like collectivist farms. That was great. Like that really blew. You could tell there was a shift where everyone was like, oh, you don't give a shit and you're kind of mean and you cannot handle criticism, which is a great trait for a politician, obviously. Yeah. And then DK, which is also probably something he's maybe heard from an adult, was like, you need to fix your little disrespectful mouth, which I was like, holy shit.
I just want to say, that Sophia is actually helping you out, okay? So I just want to say, fix your little disrespectful mouth, because the Green District's doing a lot more than you're doing.
Okay.
Everyone, quiet!
He's definitely been told that many times by his mom.
So drink every time you hear a kid say something that they would never say if they hadn't heard their parents say it, because we are just little fucking repeater machines that just say whatever our parents have once said. So that was cray cray. Then we get the, another cliffhanger moment, which is Karsh being like, okay, cool. Complaints is phase 1 of the meeting. Next is who's leaving? You got to say it now or forever hold your peace. And so we've been teased all episode that Emilie might bounce because she's not really happy here. Yeah. And no one leaves on this episode. Yeah. We get a nice little vignette confessional footage of Emilie being like, I thought about leaving, but my mom told me to be a rough and tough cowgirl, so I'm going to stay.
When my mom told me to come here, she said to be a rough and tough cowgirl, so I want to stay.
And show out for those wild Mustangs, basically. I mean, Emilie's awesome.
Emily is great. We'll talk about who gets the gold star later.
Which,
that's our gold star.
Oh, our gold star, yes. But, next up is the gold star. And the gold star goes to...
Michael.
Not
Greg. This is like La La Land versus Moonlight all over again. Except there wasn't any of the things that happened, like the card and
I was gonna be like, who?
Warren Beatty and
So Michael got the star. Greg looks visibly pissed. I want to talk about Michael's parent footage, and then we can maybe talk about the logistics of who what the star decision came down to. So this is my new question that I can't believe I've never asked myself upon watching Kid Nation and we saw it last episode where Sophia giving a call home to mom. Okay, maybe I just figured it out in my mind. How do they have the parents there when they're calling the kids? Because these parents are spread out all over the U.S. So how do they know who won? But you know what? I just realized what they probably did. I just came to me.
What?
Was they probably call the parents and record the phone call, and then they probably film that footage later with the parents.
Yeah, that's definitely it.
That's probably it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I just figured it out.
Because the conversations are like so stupid and simple. It's like, hi, mama, I got to tell you something. I won a gold star worth $20,000. It's weighed in gold.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, really? That's amazing. Like normally the parent on the other end of the line would be like, wait, what are you talking? What?
Yeah.
A gold star worth its weight in gold? Like, what? What does that mean?
So I'd be curious if a kid from Bonanza could confirm or deny, but I was like very confused upon watching, and then I was just thinking from a producer brain, like, oh, that's probably it, because they're not gonna fly. I don't know. That's probably it. So he got the gold star. Greg is pissed, and Greg teases that. I mean, Mike wasn't wrong that Greg was turning out for the gold star.
Yeah.
And now Greg's like, guess I'm going to fuck shit up from here on out.
Yeah, because in episode 1, he's tagging.
Yeah, he's bad.
He's like bullying kids.
But like, Greg, you're probably just going to get it the next episode if you keep killing meat for these kids. Like, calm down.
Yeah, I mean, like, he should easily be able to take at least like 3 gold stars.
Yeah, easily.
Just based off his like charisma, his skill set, his like union labor.
Yeah.
Like, he's just an amazing kid. Greg.
Yeah, Greg, you don't give yourself enough credit. You've probably had a lot of ups and downs and emotional battles, but you work hard. And then we see some B-roll again of an unmarked kid just walking on a bunch of barrels, which was pretty cute and funny. And that's it. So that was a pretty hot episode. So far, only one kid is left. Sophia, gold star holder number 1. Michael, gold star holder number 2. Both from the green team.
I never thought about it that.
They're
the losers in the challenge,
but winners of the cold hard cash.
Yeah. So who are the real losers?
Also, I speculated upon watching, like, wondering if like the CBS like producers, developers of the show thought of like the green, red, yellow, blue teams as like the elements of like astrology and the zodiac and things, and like what that represents.
Yeah. What are they? Air, water?
Well, red would be fire.
Red would be fire.
Blue would be water. Mm-hmm. Green would probably be earth, and yellow, I guess, would technically be air.
Piss.
Smog. Piss.
Urine.
Piss. Pee-pee.
Yeah, piss.
Yeah, air piss. So anyways, that's some food for that. Should we give out our gold stars to who our kid of the eps?
Yes, you go first. I'm still kind of pondering mine, to be honest.
Fair enough.
I think I know who yours is.
Well, I'm gonna split my gold star between Emilie and her tethered. I'm allowed. This is fun.
That is a solid chunk of gold. You can't split it.
$10,000 each.
Even Greg couldn't split it with his strong arms.
$10,000 each.
His strong, muscular arms.
I'm gonna give it to Emilie, but then I'm gonna put in contract that she must give at least 10% to her tethered and 10% to PETA. That's like her rule for that.
To her tether.
I mean, her tether was awesome, and I can't believe she didn't get a name cred in this ep, because I feel like she talked a lot and like said a lot of like really good shit, and we just like didn't get it. She had this Saddam Hussein quote. Come on.
I thought her friend said that. Oh, or
no, the friend, the tether. True.
That was very funny.
That girl was funny, and she was super Southern and super great. Well, maybe we'll find out soon, but I would give it to Emilie. I really fell in love with her this episode. Obviously, I couldn't get her name out of my mouth. I don't know if we'll see her as much in the rest of the season, so I just want to give her due. Also, so far, my favorite kids have been blue girls so far. So Mallory and Emilie have been my two.
Well, blue team is strong, top to bottom.
Yeah. So who are you giving a gold star to?
Well, who did I give it on in episode 1? Was it Greg or was it Jared?
I can't remember. I'd have to go back.
I mean,
memory of a goldfish.
I think Greg should have won the real gold star.
For sure. Like in this episode, Greg should have gotten it.
So I mean, I gotta give it up to my boy Greg. He is so strong. He knows how to kill chickens. He knows how to butcher them into individual pieces.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's good.
What a kid. What a kid. What a kid. What a kid. What a mighty good kid.
He's a mighty, mighty good Greg. Would you rather break wild Mustangs with Emily or lay PVC pipe with Greg on like some like Nevada job site?
Are you kidding me? I mean, I would probably get kicked in the face by a fucking Mustang. But I can imagine just like laying pipe with Greg. Go to the bar afterwards, have some Coronas.
Root beer?
Have some root beer. We go to the saloon, have some root beer after a long, honest day's work of laying pipe.
Uh-huh.
And see where the night takes us.
Would you rather wear Colton's cowboy hat or Mallory's oversized coat?
The cowboy hat.
Yeah, Colton's got
Because I want to be a cowboy, baby.
Mama said, be a tough cowgirl, Emily. A rough and tough cowgirl, Emily. I love Would You Rather. Would you rather be... I want to like incorporate a yellow team question. Would you rather
never do any dishes ever?
Would you rather be stuck doing dishes begrudgingly with the yellow team or
lose every challenge
or
with
cleaning toilets with the green team?
I don't know. Fuck it. I'd rather be... Yeah. Wait, what?
I don't know. That wasn't a good one. Skip it. Just skip it.
Okay.
We don't have to. But that's it. Episode 3 is coming up next. We'll see what... It's heating up.
It is getting very wild. I mean, it's been 10 days or so.
So we ended the meeting. The council meeting was day 7.
Oh, that's right, because this is 40 days worth, and I think there's 12 episodes.
Yeah, so it's pretty. I'm assuming most episodes are like a 3-day span from like setup to like the day of the challenge to like follow up. Has been the kind of main format.
I mean, I know the challenges are technically an hour, but it seems like they take like 48 hours for these kids to accomplish.
Basically, so we'll check out these pioneers and who's alive next week here in Kid Nation Nation.
Yes.
Bye.